It was a dark time for Lee Rauter's family at Buffalo.
We're not in Arizona, so all of our angst is almost compounded because we're so far away from it all.
A beloved son and brother gone. No answers to satisfy their deep suspicions.
I want to know what happened, like, what happened next. We never got that. I never got that.
So.
And to make it worse, said Lee's mom, her granddaughters were out of her life too.
The little one used to call me Grandma from New York. So she would call me and she'd say, "Hi, Grandma from New York." I haven't heard from her. I have no idea why there's no communications. I've called and my phone calls aren't returned.
They've had birthdays since then, and I've sent birthday card with a birthday check, and the check never got cashed.
It was Lisa who decided, if nobody else will give us answers, I'll find them myself.
It's just my detectiveness inside of me.
How'd you go about doing that?
I called the sheriff's office and said I'd like to request the 911 tape.
That was that.
And they said, okay, you have to fill out a form and send a check, and got my CD in the mail.
Then the family gathered to listen, and what they heard on that 911 recording seemed very odd indeed.
911, what's your emergency?
He shot himself. I don't get it. He shot himself.
Okay, who shot himself?
I don't know who he is. He's like my wife's cousin.
What was that? Rob told the 911 operator and later the police he wasn't sure who the dead man was. Might have been his wife's cousin? Really?
And who is this person that shot? Is it a family friend?
He is my daughter-in-law's cousin, I think. We're sitting around. I think he's my stepdaughter's cousin, I think. I'm not sure.
It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if you've known a guy for 12 years, you certainly knew who it was that was laying there.
Do you know how old he is?
He looks... No, I don't know his age, but I'm looking at him.
The family thought they were hearing a cover-up in progress, some kind of act. The call was disconnected. Rob called 911 again.
Who is this person to you?
What?
Who is this person to you?
Who is he?
And what was also strange? Belinda's voice in the background. To them, it seemed far too calm.
Is it a friend or a relative or?
He is my daughter-in-law's friend.
How old is he?
How old is he?
50.
50?
I don't have a frantic wife in the background screaming, "Oh my God, my husband's dead."
Why isn't Belinda doing CPR on my brother? She's a nurse. It was heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching.
Kind of eye-opening, too, I should think. A little bit.
I think it really kind of solidified our belief that my brother did not commit suicide.
So they went back and forth. Was Belinda covering up for Rob? Was Rob covering for Belinda? Back at home, Rob did the prudent thing. He hired an attorney.
Just to let Maricopa County know that I was willing to cooperate.
In fact, said Rob, his attorney called the police in Arizona to check on the investigation, but as far as Rob could tell, nobody was interested in talking to him again.
We made those types of inquiries multiple times with them.
And heard nothing?
No.
Oh, but the same was not true for Belinda.
They came to my house 5, 6, 7 times. I let them in my house. We sat down, we talked. I wasn't resisting anything. I didn't have what they wanted. I didn't have any answers. I didn't have any extra knowledge of anything.
Lee had life insurance. Belinda was the beneficiary. It was blocked for months while the police investigated. And when the DA summoned Belinda's children to a deposition, she, for a while at least, resisted.
And it wasn't until the harassing got to a point that that the district attorney threatened to call Child Protective Services on me if I didn't have my children forensically deposed, that I ended up hiring an attorney. And that was the only reason.
But it wasn't harassment at all, said the sheriff's deputies. Asking questions was just their job. And eventually, they heard Belinda's sobered-up answers. of going to bed by midnight and being woken up by Rob right before his 911 call around 5 in the morning.
I remember getting up, him shaking me, waking me up.
That's Rob.
Rob, yeah. And saying, "Where's Lee? Where's Lee?" And I'm thinking, what do you mean?
How is it that you didn't hear the shot?
I myself am a very sound sleeper. Praise God, my daughters are very sound sleepers because they didn't hear it either.
So if her demeanor seemed off on the 911 call, or later to the arriving officer, she said, remember, at first she thought the bloody scene in the kitchen was a prank. And those pictures of Lee that showed up so suspiciously on her BlackBerry?
I think that in all likelihood, I took the picture. And because I was thinking that it wasn't real.
Yeah.
That it was fake.
And not knowing the difference between 10:30 p.m. and 5 a.m. in her first police interview, well, that she blamed on the wine. And later Belinda told police a timeline that made sense. Why was your story different later than it was early?
I don't think that I was remembering everything that had transpired. I don't think that I was really thinking of the chronological order of things.
And after many sessions with Belinda, investigators were finally satisfied that she was telling the truth. Their suspicion of her, whether she knew it or not, dissipated. And then, almost 6 months after Lee's death, May 2011, the medical examiner finally issued an autopsy report. In Buffalo, beliefs confirmed.
It was not ruled a suicide, it was ruled a homicide.
But in Phoenix?
That was completely surprising.
And at Rob's place in California?
There's a level of disbelief. It's, how did that happen kind of thing.
Good question. And here's another one. Why still wasn't anybody arrested? In spite of the medical examiner's ruling that it was homicide, a whole year went by. Rob thought this might be a case they simply weren't going to pursue.
You're looking forward in your life. You're not looking over your shoulder.
Maybe he should have been, or would have been, had he known the questions Belinda was being asked back in Phoenix, Arizona.
They kept saying, "Well, do you think there was a fight between them that night?" Like, no way. They'd never fought.
No, the case wasn't dead at all. But the murder suspect under the microscope wasn't Belinda. It was Rob Fisher.
Coming up, why Rob? Though he claimed he was nowhere near Lee when the gun went off, evidence seemed to tell a different story.
There were 2 glasses with ice in both of those glasses. Tells us that 2 people are up drinking.